The UK has been shaken recently by a wave of riots. These weren't just isolated incidents. They were fueled by a complex mix of social anxieties, economic frustrations, and a simmering undercurrent of Islamophobia. While a knife attack in Southport initially sparked the unrest, the scale of the violence points to deeper issues. It's a stark reminder that beneath the surface of any society, tensions can simmer and erupt with terrifying speed. These events force us to confront uncomfortable truths. We need to ask ourselves, what happens when misinformation spreads like wildfire? What happens when fear and prejudice are allowed to fester? And what happens when those in power exploit these anxieties for their own gain? The answers, as we've seen, can be devastating. One of the most disturbing aspects of the recent riots is the speed with which seemingly ordinary people were swept up in the violence. This is a classic example of mob mentality or de-individuation at play. When individuals become part of a crowd, they can lose their sense of individual identity and responsibility. They become anonymous, and their actions are no longer guided by their own moral compass, but by the emotions and actions of the group. This phenomenon is often amplified by fear and uncertainty. When people are afraid, they're more likely to act impulsively and irrationally. They become susceptible to rumors and misinformation which can spread like wildfire through social media. In this charged atmosphere, even small incidents can escalate quickly into large-scale violence. It's a stark reminder of the power of the crowd and the fragility of social order. We can't talk about the UK riots without addressing the elephant in the room: social media. Platforms like Facebook and Twitter have become breeding grounds for misinformation and hate speech. Algorithms designed to keep us engaged often prioritize sensational content regardless of its accuracy. This creates a perfect storm for the spread of rumors, conspiracy theories, and outright lies. In the lead-up to the riots, social media was awash with false narratives about the Southport attack. These narratives, often laced with racist and Islamophobic undertones, were shared widely, fueling anger and distrust. The speed and reach of this disinformation were staggering, quickly outpacing any attempts at correction or clarification. It's a stark reminder of the urgent need for greater accountability and regulation in the digital space. Exploiting fear: far-right groups and the politics of division. While social media played a significant role in amplifying misinformation, it's crucial to recognize that this was not a random or spontaneous eruption of violence. Far-right groups, with their history of exploiting social anxieties for political gain, played a deliberate role in fanning the flames of unrest. These groups thrive on division and discord. They offer simplistic solutions to complex problems, often scapegoating immigrants and minorities for society's ills. In the wake of the Southport attack, far-right groups seized on the tragedy to push their own agendas, spreading fear-mongering narratives and inciting hatred against the Muslim community. Their actions were a cynical attempt to exploit a national tragedy for political gain, further fueling the cycle of violence and division. Living in fear: the impact on the UK's Muslim community. The recent riots have had a chilling effect on the UK's Muslim community. Falsely accused of being responsible for the Southport attack, they have become targets of violence, discrimination, and abuse. Mosques have been vandalized, Muslim-owned businesses attacked, and individuals harassed in the streets. This surge in Islamophobia is a stark reminder of the fragility of tolerance and the persistent reality of prejudice. For many British Muslims, the riots have shattered their sense of safety and belonging. They live with the constant fear of being targeted simply because of their faith. This climate of fear and suspicion is not only morally wrong but also deeply damaging to the social fabric of the UK. Building bridges: a call for dialogue and understanding. The UK riots are a wake-up call. They expose the dangers of unchecked social media, the divisive tactics of far-right groups, and the urgent need to address the root causes of social unrest. But amidst the despair, there is also hope. Across the UK, communities are coming together to reject hatred and division. Now is the time for dialogue, for understanding, and for building bridges across communities. We need to challenge misinformation and prejudice wherever we see it. We need to hold our leaders accountable for divisive rhetoric and policies, and we need to invest in programs that promote social cohesion and understanding. The road to healing will be long and difficult, but it must begin with a commitment to justice, equality, and compassion for all.